Hello everyone, myself Dr. Devendra Singhal. Today I will give you the lecture on Hall effect. When a current carrying conductor in which current is flowing is placed in a magnetic field perpendicular to the direction of flowing current, a potential difference appears between the opposite phases of the plate. That is, a transverse electric field is developed perpendicular to the direction of current and magnetic field. This effect is known as Hall effect. To understand Hall effect, let us consider a conducting rod placing along xz plane in which an electric current capital I is flowing in the x direction by the application of an electric field capital E vector. A magnetic field B vector is applied in z direction as shown in figure. Let small q be the charge on carriers and v vector be their average drift velocity. Due to the external magnetic field B vector, a force will act on the moving charge carrier. This force will be F vector is equal to Q V cross B vector. As we know that for electrons Q is equal to minus E and V vector is equal to V minus X cap in bracket. As we know that the flow of electron is opposite to direction of current flowing. That's why we write here V vector is equal to V function of minus X cap and B vector is equal to B Bz cap. Then equation 1 will be F vector is equal to minus E in bracket V of minus X cap cross B of Z cap. Minus minus plus. Here we are using vector cross product property. X cap cross Z cap is equal to minus Y cap. That's why F vector is equal to EVB minus Y cap. That is, the electron will suffer a downward force because force is the function of minus y cap. In this figure we show that solid sphere denotes electrons. These electrons feel downward force, that's why the lower surface of the sample will be negative charge, and due to the mutual induction the upper surface is positive charged. Similarly for holes, Q is equal to E and V is equal to Vx cap and B vector is equal to Bz cap. The drift velocity of hole is along the direction of current. Then equation 1 will be F vector is equal to E Vx cap cross Vz cap. Again using cross product property we can write F vector is equal to EVB minus Y cap. Means holes also suffer force with the downward direction. Again we show in the sample, hollow sphere shows the holes. Due to the downward force on holes, the lower surface of the sample will positively charge and upper surface will be negatively charged due to mutual induction. In the steady state, the total force, we can see the Lorentz force, Q E vector plus V cross V is equal to 0. This implies QET vector is equal to minus Q V cross V. Q LHS in RHS side we have Q is cancel out, then we get ET vector is equal to minus of V cross B vector. Here ET represents the developed transverse electric field. T means transverse. For electrons, V is equal to V minus X cap and B vector is equal to B Z cap. Then from equation 4, ET vector is equal to minus V minus X cap cross B Z cap, minus minus plus, and X cap cross Z cap is minus Y cap. Then we can write ET vector is equal to VB minus Y cap. And for holes, similarly, ET vector is equal to minus of Vx cap plus Bz cap. Then we can write by using cross product property, ET vector is equal to VB Y cap. Means downward electric field is developed for electrons and upward electric field is developed for holes. Then now we calculate Hall coefficient. The average drift velocity V vector is related to current density as J vector is equal to NQ V vector. As we know that current density means current per unit area. Now I am explaining why I write this equation. N is number of charge carriers per unit volume, Q is charge, and V is drift velocity. If I calculate the dimension of RHS, that will be equal to the dimensions of LHS. That's why I write modulus of J is equal to NQV. This implies V is equal to J upon NQ. From equation 4, we can write the modulus of ET is equal to VB. Now from equation 8 and 9, we can write ET is equal to JB upon NQ. This implies ET upon JV is equal to 1 upon NQ is equal to RH, where RH is called Hall coefficient. If the thickness of the plate is W, then we can write VH is equal to ET W. This implies ET is equal to VH upon W, where VH is called Hall voltage developed between opposite faces of the plate. We know that conductivity sigma is equal to NQ mu. Then from equation 10 and 11, we can write sigma is equal to mu upon RH. This implies RH is equal to mu upon sigma. This is the relation between Hall coefficient and conductivity, where mu stands for mobility of charge carriers. By this relation, we can calculate Hall coefficient when the given parameter is mobility and conductivity. Now we move to application of Hall coefficient. As we know that Hall coefficient RH is equal to 1 upon NQ. First application, we can find out the nature of charge carriers. If Hall coefficient is negative, charge carrier is electron. If Hall coefficient is positive, charge carriers are holes. Number 2 application, density of charge carriers. By this relation RH is equal to 1 upon NQ, we can calculate N, density of charge carriers. Next application is mobility of charge carriers. We can calculate mobility by equation 12, that is RH is equal to mu upon sigma. So we can calculate mobility from Hall coefficient, and we can also calculate the conductivity of charge carriers with the Hall coefficient. This is the application of Hall coefficient. If we know the Hall coefficient for any material, we can find out the nature of charge carriers, the density of charge carriers, mobility of charge carriers, and the conductivity of charge carriers. This is all about Hall effect. Thank you.